We need to understand that saving alone won't make us rich, but it's a great way to get started. What's up guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Louis, and on this channel we talk all things real estate, personal finance and investing. If this is your first time here, please take the time to subscribe and go have a look at some of my previous videos. With that said, today we're going to talk about the best savings account in South Africa. And I just want to make this clear, this is savings accounts and not investment accounts. There's quite a big difference, and savings accounts don't have any risk involved, whereas with investments accounts, usually you have to take on low, medium or aggressive risk. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the different savings account and the different options that we have to save our money for a short period of time, anything from 1 month until a year. So I'm going to exclude tax-free savings account, and I'm going to exclude fixed deposit accounts. Tax-free savings accounts is a great way to save money without paying tax on your interest, but you need to have quite a bit of money in that savings account to make it worth your time. With the fixed deposit accounts, you have to invest your money for a fixed term. Usually that's anything from a year upwards. The savings accounts that I chose for this video, I chose them for a specific reason, because it's easy to get started with them and you don't have to have a huge lump sum of money to save. So let's say, for example, you have a few extra bucks just laying around and you want to save towards a specific goal, but you don't want to keep that money in a traditional check account. You want to earn some interest on that money while you are saving towards a goal. These accounts all have similarities, and they have a few things in common, such as you don't need a large minimum amount to open these accounts. The minimum amount can be anything from 50 Rand upwards until 1,000 Rand. So I'm sure that most people that's trying to save already have this amount available. Other accounts like fixed deposits require a larger minimum amount, like 10,000 Rand, before you can open that account, and that's why we're not going to talk about those accounts today. Another thing all of these accounts have in common is that you can access your money immediately. So we want to save for the short term, like I said, anything from a month until a year, and liquidity is very important. Liquidity basically means how easy is it to get access to your savings. And for example, you don't want to save towards a goal and wait another month to get access to that money. If you want to withdraw that money, you can do that immediately. The last similarity that they have is there's no monthly fees involved. And this is great because we don't want extra expenses on the savings account. So with that said, those three things are the similarities between these accounts, and the only difference between the accounts is the interest rates. And this is ultimately what's going to determine which account you choose, because the interest rate can make a big difference. This is the rate of return that you will receive on the money that you saved. So I'm going to jump to my screen and share with you guys the banks that I think is a good option to save your money in. At the end of the video, I'm going to reveal which one I would prefer to save my money in, and from there you can decide whether this is a good idea or not. So the first bank that I'm going to show you is Standard Bank, and the savings account is called a Pure Save. And it shows us that you need a balance between 0 and 1,000 Rand to start with this account. I just wanted to add to this video, I'm recording this in 2022, and so if you're watching this video in 2030, this will obviously be much different. Here Standard Bank shows us that they can give us a nominal interest rate of 2.7%. So before I go ahead, you have to be aware of the terms of a savings account, and Standard Bank, for example, will tell you, listen, they will give you a nominal interest rate, and what this means is this interest rate is not adjusted for inflation. Unfortunately, none of these accounts will beat inflation, so I'm not going to go into detail with this. Another thing with the basic savings account is that they have a variable interest rate, meaning the more money you have saved, the better your interest rate will be. So let's jump to the second option, which is net bank. This is called the club savings account. And again, you don't have to pay a monthly fee, and the opening deposit is 100 Rand, which is quite low. And they show us that the interest rate can vary from 0.75 to 2.50. So this is a very low amount of interest. So I'm going to jump to the next bank, and this one is Capitec. It's called the flexible savings account. Once again, there's no monthly fees, you can access your money immediately, and the minimum deposit is from 0 to 10,000 Rand. So here we can see the nominal rate that Capitec gives us is 2.75%. So now already we can see that Capitec gives a better interest rate than Nedbank as well as Standard Bank. And this is basically why we are doing this video, because we can compare the different interest rates. And this is where it gets interesting. So I'm going to go to the following bank, which is Absa. Once again, the minimum amount is very low and it's 50 bucks. And here we can see the standard rate is 0.95%. And then Absa specifically gives a digital bonus rate of 1.90% depending on the amount of money that you have invested. So here we can see the total rate is 2.85%. Just be aware that the digital bonus rate has a lot of terms and conditions, and you need to save a specific amount before you can start earning this interest. The last bank is FNB. Once again, a very small minimum savings amount. There's still no monthly fees and immediate access. And here they show the nominal interest rate is 2.8%. So these are all of the options that I thought are some of the better options, and there's other options available as well, like for example Investec, maybe Discovery, African Bank. But for the purpose of this video, I wanted to stay with the big names that's really already established in the industry. I'm not sure if you've seen a specific account that you would invest your money in. The one that I would choose is probably FNB, because they have the biggest nominal rate without any fancy digital interest rates. And you can be certain to receive that specific interest rate from the first month. Another thing that we need to be aware of is that your savings account won't make you rich, and this is just a way to save your money for a short period of time so that you don't lose too much money due to inflation. The nominal rate is the interest rates that all of the banks advertise, and basically what this means is that this interest rate is not adjusted for inflation. And unfortunately, none of these savings accounts will beat inflation, but it's better than losing the total inflation amount on your money. Inflation is what eats away our money each and every year, because a rand today won't be the same as a rand next year. Maybe I'll be able to buy some new shoes with 1,000 Rand today, but in a year's time I won't be able to buy that same shoes. We need to understand that saving alone won't make us rich, but it's a great way to get started. Once we have an emergency fund saved and we know we can take on some risk, then we start looking at investment accounts. With that said, thank you guys for staying until the end of the video. I hope this was helpful. Hopefully you can have a look at all of the different options and know what to look out for. Just remember that no account is the same, and we need to do our research to be able to compare specific accounts with each other so that we know which one is the best to save our money in. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.